Hello mini makers. Today we'll be making a Deku Scrub from the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for 3D printing. We will begin by making the basic shapes. Add 2 spheres for the body and the head, size them in the X and Y dimensions to get more oval-like spheres, then add a cylinder for the neck and subdivide everything to make them smooth for 3D printing. Now we can begin shaping the head. We can do this by using the snake hook tool in sculpt mode to flatten the back of the head and push the front of the face down to make a more duck-like appearance. You can use the blob tool to give some volume to the cheeks, as well as add another cylinder for the snout, creating an edge loop in the middle and sizing it down to create the proper shape. Next, we can create the donut at the edge of the snout. We'll do this by duplicating the vertices at the edge of the snout, separating by selection, and converting it to a curve. We can give the snout opening some depth by insetting the cylinder face and extruding the cylinder face towards the body. We can then give the snout donut some thickness by tweaking the bevel depth in the geometry section of the curve tab. You can spend some time on this to make sure it is the right thickness. We can also add some subdivisions to make everything smooth. We can move on to make the head shape in sculpt mode. We can do that by using the smooth and scrape tool to give a flat appearance for the head. We can use the draw sharp tool to make a more distinct boundary for the eyebrow section, making sure to give the eyes the proper amount of space for the sockets. Then we will make the sockets. We can use the mask tool to create a hole for the eyes to enter by inverting the selected mask and using the inflate mesh tool into the body. To make the eyes, add a sphere and size it in the Y dimension to give it a more oblong shape like a long Ed, and move the eye into the eye socket. You can then mirror the eye using the head as a mirror object and move the eye socket into better place using the grab tool so that it looks like the eye socket is surrounding the eye. You can then use the mask tool and the grab tool to make the eyelid more defined. Now, make sure everything is smooth and unioned using the Bool tool add-on and smoothing out the connections. We can add some geometry using the inflate tool at 0 strength and dynamic topology, making sure to smooth out any connections between the individual pieces. For the neck, we can use the clay strips tool to add a little bit more volume and the pinch tool to create a sharper neck like the one that is seen in the concept art. After that, we can begin making the feet by adding the basic shapes, such as the cylinder for the leg and a sphere that is cut in half for the foot. We can begin to give the foot a more shoe-like shape using the inflate tool and the smooth tool. You can make the foot however you like at this point, being sure to look at the concept art and choosing which foot you would like your model to have. This is a good point to remind everybody that not all concept arts translate well to 3D models, and you will have to choose how you want your finished model to look. It is perfectly okay if you cannot copy the concept art, as sometimes it is impossible to make the finished model look exactly like the concept art. After we have the basic shape for the foot and the leg, we can add some of the details on the foot using the draw tool and the crease tool to give it a more shoe-like design. Be sure to look at the foot from all sides to make sure you are happy with the way it looks in all angles. After we have made the shapes and the body, we can decimate the body to make the model a little bit easier to work with and to reduce the lag in modeling with Blender. After we are comfortable with the way the body of the Deku looks, we can then move on to making the leaves at the top. This is done by adding a circle and sizing it in the Y dimension. Then we will connect the vertices of the circle using F to fill and make edges between the vertices. We will then subdivide the center edges and join them using the join function. We will then create faces using F to fill the faces, and we will bevel the middle line of the leaf and extrude the leaf spine in the Z dimension. We will then mirror the leaf across the Z-axis, move the leaf in the Z-axis in edit mode, and bridge the edge loops between the two leaf segments. After this, we can give the leaf some volume by sizing it in the Z dimension, making sure the leaf spine is a good size for you. Now, we can add some geometry using dynamic topology and begin adding the leaf textures. We can do this by using the Draw Sharp tool with symmetry enabled and make the leaf ridge with the Sharp tool. Then, go in between the ridge you just made and use the negative direction to create a little bit more volume and depth for the leaves. After you have finished the leaf base, you can then decimate the leaf and begin placing the leaves to the head in the places you would like to see them. I will speed this up as it took a little bit of time to get the leaves all in the proper place. You can do this mirrored or not, depending on how you want the leaves to look at the end. After you have the leaves in the proper place, the next thing to do is to make sure, if you are mirroring the leaves, that the leaf pairs do not overlap with each other. This is done to avoid artifacts during the printing process. For aesthetics, make sure no leaves are clipping through the other leaves to make this look as realistic as possible. You do want to make sure the leaves do connect with all the other leaves, and that the body connects with the leaves as well, to make sure that it is a single object. I have also spent quite a bit of time on this portion as well, as you can see. It took quite a bit of time to get everything how I wanted it. While unioning all the leaves together, it is okay if you hide some of the leaves and the body, and it is okay if you occasionally go inside the model itself to make sure you are not seeing any artifacts to avoid issues later in the printing process. If you like the model and want to print it yourself, be sure to go to my printables page in the description and download it for yourself. If you would like to support more videos and more models, please support me on my Patreon page.